In yesterday's New York Times, opinion columnist Carlos Lozada offered a critique of two questions that he said he is tired of hearing from interviewers and podcasters across media sources these days. They are, how did we get here? And number two, what has surprised you the most about fill in the blank? As in, what has surprised you the most about the latest season of that show, or what has surprised you most about that special election? Of the first question, how did we get here? Lozada argues that his issue with this question is the interviewer's invitation to the interviewee to engage in what he calls a seductive reductionism of monocausal explanation. Got that? Of pointing to that one thing way back then that brought us all the stuff happening now. Listen closely, says Lozada, when people riff on how we got here, and you'll see that their explanations invariably depend on how they feel about here. Whatever one deems most important about today will dictate the preceding events worth highlighting. That's the dirty secret about how did we get here. It is not about dispassionately assessing the past, but about subjectively interpreting the present. Similarly, his issue with what has surprised you the most about blank is also about the subjective, isolated opinion of a given individual, rather than focusing on the broader context. He explains, the trouble with this question is that it removes the focus from the substance of whatever event or debate is being discussed, redirecting it to the speaker's or writer's personal perceptions or expectations about it, away from facts and towards idiosyncrasy. Our Jewish tradition, the wisdom of over 2 millennia of stories, study, and debate, also urges us to ask a different set of questions, particularly in this moment as we enter a new year. The question that seems to be on everyone's lips is, what are your New Year's resolutions? Perhaps we need a new question, a different question, that might shift our gaze and adjust our expectations for this year. Here's what I'd like to suggest. Number one, what blessings are you bringing into this new year? And number two, what blessings do you hope to find this year? In our Torah portion this week, we find Jacob, the patriarch, Israel, who is nearing the end of his life. He calls his beloved son Joseph, who he'd been reunited with in Egypt 17 years earlier, calls him to his bedside, aware that his time is waning. Jacob wants some private time with just Joseph, who still seems to hold a special place in Jacob's heart. Here, Jacob doesn't start off with offering Joseph a blessing, but instead makes a special request. Promise me that you won't bury me in Egypt when I die. Joseph seems to sense the urgency in his father's request and promises that he will do so. Not long after, Joseph returns to Jacob's side with his children, Ephraim and Manasseh, who also receive a special blessing from Jacob. Separate from Joseph's other brothers, Jacob lifts up these 2 grandsons' status, taking them on as direct inheritors of Jacob's, meaning they get comparable shares of Jacob's inheritance as Joseph's brothers. It's not an insignificant or inconsequential move. He then blesses Joseph, offering a prayer for the safety and protection of Joseph's children, that Jacob's name will be remembered through them, and that their offspring will be fruitful. To Ephraim and Manasseh specifically, Jacob offers this blessing. By you shall Israel invoke blessings, saying, God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. To this day, when we bless our sons on Shabbat, we offer them the priestly blessing, yes, but we begin with the words, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. Indeed, for the first time in the book of Genesis, we see 2 siblings who receive a blessing side by side without any sibling rivalry, infighting, or bickering. Not only do they receive a blessing, but they do so in a manner befitting of blessing as well. Their character and their humility is meant to be noticed and emulated. For this, Joseph's sons are promised a greater portion than the rest of Joseph's brothers. Once Jacob finishes these private blessings, he calls for the rest of his sons. Jewish commentators engage in an interesting debate as to whether what Jacob offers his sons really constitute blessings or fall more into the category of prophecy or warning. Indeed, they seem to reflect on both the strengths but also the shortcomings of each son's character. Jacob seems to be offering each son a charge. As author Leon Cass writes, what follows is part blessing, part prophecy, part settling of scores, and part redirection of future family and tribal relations. The remarks are sometimes about the sons themselves, sometimes about the tribes in Israel to which they give their names. As the text says at the end of the Testament, all these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their father spoke unto them and blessed them. Everyone according to his blessing, he blessed them. Reuben, the oldest, he calls unstable as water, so maybe not a blessing, and warns you shall excel no longer. Simeon and Levi are paired together, and Jacob warns their weapons are tools of lawlessness. Cursed be their anger so fierce, and their wrath so relentless. Judah, though, Jacob lifts up, noting that great things will come from him, a testament to the leadership that he had shown over the years. In the Torah, Jacob is at the end of his journey, but recognizes a different journey is about to begin. His family's need to navigate the world without him, to really become Bnei Yisrael, not just the children, but the people of Israel. His blessings, though sometimes sharp critique, may be meant to motivate or help attune his sons to the areas in which they need a little extra work. Perhaps these blessings are an invitation to us to consider our own blessings. What are our strengths and our shortcomings that we need to tend to in the coming year? How can we find new opportunities to find meaning and holiness in our daily lives, things for which we can be proud? In the Talmud, the rabbis present us with a spiritual challenge for acknowledging holiness. Every day, a person should say 100 blessings. While it might seem ambitious, the essence of the challenge is powerful. How can we become more attuned, more mindful of the opportunities to connect to what's going on around us and to offer gratitude and thanks for even the simplest things in our lives? How can we elevate some of our most mundane, normal daily tasks, whether it's eating a meal or hearing thunder or catching up with an old friend? How can we transform these simple actions into holy moments? This is one of my favorite things about Judaism. In Judaism, there are small things we can do to incorporate Jewish values and Jewish practices into our lives every single day. Our tradition gives us a system for paying attention to the details of our lives and for sanctifying special moments, helping us live our lives with a mindset of gratitude. We say a blessing over a meal, elevating it from a necessary act of nourishment and survival to an opportunity to reflect on our good fortune. Think about where we are, think about what we are about to eat, where we are, who we're with, and offer thanks for the food before us. This practice of looking for blessings reframes our lives from thinking about what we might be owed or what more we might want, to finding satisfaction, contentment, and fulfillment in what we already have. It's just about asking the right questions, of approaching our daily lives from the right angle. As Lazada concludes, the next time some host or moderator asks how we got here, I hope the answer is another question, very Jewish. Where is here? What exactly have we become in this here, in this now? Once we settle that question, we can start to determine how we arrived at this condition. And if you insist on asking what surprised someone most, then at least follow up with a more useful query. Why were you surprised? What misunderstanding lies at the heart of your surprise, and what is its source? Without those next steps, the first question is rendered useless. There are blessings that we can say for hearing good news, seeing a rainbow, even going to the bathroom. These blessings take these simple actions and remind us that there is something bigger than any one of us, and to pause and reflect on the significance of these moments. So, as we start a new year, what if we change the questions we're asking and the questions we ask ourselves, and really ask ourselves, what blessings might we find this year when we start looking for them everywhere? Shabbat Shalom. Continue with another blessing.